one of the best parts about building a brand is you can control your own future. You can create your own economy, meaning you can monetize. The reason we started building a brand, because we had one stream of income, which was our network marketing income. We were six-figure earners at that point, but I was like, dude, this is like stressful. Like, what if our team falls apart? What if we decide to stop building that business? Well, if you have a brand, a following, and you launch something new, people will follow you. People will join you. And remember that when you're building the brand, your goal is to relate to people, provide value, and offer something that can help them. It's not about just making a buck. It's about making an impact. Nadya Melton is the brains behind our operation, especially when it comes to this conversation. So I'm excited to have Nadya on the show today.
I know. Thank you for having me. I tell you, I get excited, right? Because if you were to ask me what was the most important decision we made in the last decade, I would say the number one decision was the decision to build our personal brand, to stop showing up as an infomercial channel, right? So if you're watching this video right now, you go, okay, you guys, spill the beans, give me the shortcut. How do I get it done? And I felt, man, how appropriate. Let's talk about how do we launch and grow a powerful personal brand. And like John said, there's all these beautiful side effects that come along with showing up over a consistent period of time where you do create your own economy, right? Especially, I think it's such an appropriate conversation to have right now, considering the state of the world. I believe it's never been a better time for you to get it together, get it fine-tuned, but also, side note, your personal brand. Here's the beauty. This could be my favorite part about the whole operation. It's because it's your personal brand, which means as a person, you're always evolving and you always pivot. Your brand can too. So for those of us that go, gosh, I'm just nervous to put myself in a box. If you do it right, you never put yourself in a box. Okay, so inside this training today, let's go ahead and dissect it. Now, if you're watching us right now, or you're listening to this right now, and you have no idea where to even begin, you haven't even created any type of content to showcase value, we actually put together a new PDF download for you. I know, right? So if you have no idea where to get started and you want to just do like a brain dump and do like an exercise that's really, really powerful. Matter of fact, even if you have been showing up and doing content, but maybe you're feeling like you're being pulled in too many different directions, I want to challenge you to go download this guide. It's called Your Unique Brand Discovery Guide, and it's right on our resources page. So we'll link to it, but it's mylifestyleacademy.com/resources. You'll find it. It's free. Download it. It's going to really just, kind of force you in a positive way to think about your genius, right? And I think the struggle, baby, when it comes to building your personal brand, and this is where you and I had an advantage, right? Is that you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. Isn't it so true? Like you can look at somebody else and accurately sum them up and clearly see their value proposition. But when it comes to our own genius, it gets pretty muddy, which is why I want to challenge you to do this guide, download, do the exercises. But if you really struggle with it, you can also reach out to some people that, maybe you respect, you look up to, and you can ask them, hey, what do you think like my brand proposition is, or what is my uniqueness, or what is it that I'm really good at? So once you kind of get an idea, you got to get started, right? Because building a brand is so much like playing a sport. You cannot think about it in your head. You just kind of have to figure it out and just start doing it. In the beginning, you really have to choose one thing, and you have to get known for that one thing, and you got to show up consistently. And then I also say, choose one platform and master that one platform. Just one topic, one platform, show up consistently. Do not try to be perfect. Show up messy. You're going to evolve as you go. And there's also something so beautiful when you unselfishly take your audience on the journey with you. That's what John and I did. I mean, my gosh, I there was a period of time where I went through and deleted hundreds of videos, like beginner videos, because it was so cringy. Do you know what I mean? It was so cringy.
They weren't that bad.
But you know, you are your own worst critic. I totally know what's going through your head right now. But you guys, please, can we just zoom in on this conversation here? That when you show up and you do a video and you share your one tip, your top 3 tips, you're speaking from results, or you're speaking from like a reporter like mindset, you learn something, you turn around and share. When people tune into your content, they're tuning in for value. They're not tuning in to pick you apart and notice all the things you did not do. But that's what we do when we watch our own content. So I went on a little tangent. I enjoyed it. So number 1, we got to show up consistently. That's where the magic happens. This is where you're going to fine tune your bullet points, your systems, your workflows. Also, what's going to happen for you is you're going to start to see where are those failure points in your content, okay? Because you're going to start to notice feedback. Now, number 2, we're going to embrace imperfection. We already spoke to that. There's no perfect people. There's no perfect videos. There's no perfection. And I still struggle with that.
And well, the biggest problem is
I really want perfect things all the time.
Unrelatable to be perfect. This is a big problem for people. They get the compare-itis. Comparing their chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to someone else's 10, 15, 20, they're just further down the path. They've just been doing it longer. We've done more videos. We've had more conversations. We've invested more money. We've gone to more seminars. You just have to keep doing the do and have that faith till you make it mentality. But they also get perfectionitis. And perfectionitis is the thief of opportunity. Compare-itis is the thief of joy. Write that down. So you want to show up imperfectly. Look at that. See? Imperfectly. I even messed up there. But you know what? That's relatable. People like when people show up with raw enthusiasm, with authenticity, with just that realness, because it's relatable. And this is why when you first start creating content, you want to think through your content and how you want to show up. Because even though you're just going to start doing videos and you're going to wing it to some extent, it's still like you want to think through it a little bit. You don't just slap things up there. You want to like think through a little bit. And I think for us, what we started doing is we started not only telling our story, but we started to really talk about the problems that we had either experienced or were experiencing. And it just resonated with a lot of people. Not like right away, but eventually over time, people could relate to the MLM PTSD conversation. They could relate to the more month than money conversation, to not having residual income, to not having multiple income streams, to being exhausted, and all the things that was a part of our journey and our story. So help the person you used to be.
Oh, I love that, John.
It's almost like you're talking to your younger self. You're talking to yourself 5 minutes ago before you figure that thing out, or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Like, how would you mentor your younger self? And what we started doing, what I did, Nadya did, we would start to like almost think about the person we were talking to as if we were talking to them in person, one-on-one, or, over the phone or over Zoom, but, we're recording the video, we're doing the live. But I would think of that one person and, they might not even see the video, but I'm thinking about them as if I'm talking to them or talking to myself in the past. And it just really helped me, where I wasn't trying to speak to this large audience of people.
That's so good.
That may never watch or hear what I have to say. But the good news is, in the beginning, not a whole lot of people are watching. Those were our worst videos. The ones Nadya is talking about that she deleted. Yeah. We had less people watching. We had less people paying attention, but that's when you figure, so when people are like, oh, I don't get a lot of views on my videos, I'm like, probably a good thing, because some of them are going to suck and be embarrassing.
But you also have to think of it like this, if there's 3 people that are watching your video, one of them could be Oprah. Do you know what I mean? So you never want to show up and not do your best, because there's not enough eyeballs in the audience. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing I want to repeat, John, because it's so good what you said, is when you do show up and record a video or you do a live video. Matter of fact, John and I are going to challenge you to do a 30-day run. I would do a 30-day run if I were you. So anything that makes you uncomfortable, if it's live video right now, if it's not knowing what your brand is, I promise you this much. If you commit to show up every single day for 30 days and to share valuable something, like let's say you have 3 to 5 different topics that you love to talk about, I would say, okay, great. If you don't know how to discern, just show up for 30 days and talk about different topics and see what that sweet spot is between you teaching on that topic and then the people that are watching you, are they really getting value from that topic? That's kind of like the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
So
and how long should the video be?
The video should be as long as possible, no, as short as possible, but as long as needed. And in the beginning, when you're new, I would make it as short as possible because you do have to essentially like earn the right for longer time view. Right?
I typically say 5 minutes.
Short.
Like
Make
literally,
it short.
because, and you know why I like saying 5 minutes? Because they feel the pressure to keep it under 5.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter if it's 10, but I know there's people that are like, what am I going to talk about for 30 minutes? I'm like, just do a 5-minute live.
That's it.
A 2-minute live.
So number 3,
interview
do
people.
not overthink it.
Yes.
So tip number 3 for you is don't overthink it.
Right.
I would just make a decision, decide, okay, whether you're going to do a 30-day run, I would decide in between 3 to 5 topics you want to talk about, and then I would choose one platform and I would just show up every day, set a goal for time wise, like have 1 to 3 bullet points written down and just play with it, right? Like be childlike. That's what the Bible teaches us. Be childlike, show up and unsubscribe from the results of it. You're going for experience.
And then what you could do if it's a 30-day challenge, I love that because that's what we used to do all the time back in the day. Every week you could do a different topic. So let's say you were like, oh, these are the 4 things I really want to test out. Don't do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like 4 completely different topics. Maybe you do week 1, this topic, week 2, this topic. Does that make sense? Like I love that 3 to 5, different things you would love to talk about. Like one could be health and fitness. The other one could be, money saving hacks. The next one could be you're trying to inspire people. Do you get that? So mix it up, test it out.
Love that. Okay, number 4, listen, don't yell. I think it's really a good one to think about. If you're going to show up and do a 15-minute live video, I would then challenge you to spend as much time, if not more, to drop into the comments of the people and engage in conversation. See what questions are coming up for the people that are watching your stuff. Now, if you have not that many people watching your stuff, then what would you do, John?
Here's the thing. If you look at it from a marketing standpoint, you're creating a piece of content, but then if the content is good, you'll know based on what the marketplace responds to. So share that in your stories. Take that live video and share it into a Facebook group. Like, don't just do a video and hope that people see it. Right. You want to market that content. You want to promote it, especially if it's value. And like we said, you can't be addicted to the outcome.
Yeah.
It's the process. It's the journey. Marry the process, divorce the result. But believe me, if you show up with a giving attitude, a giver's mentality, like I just want to give, not to get, but to give, that law of reciprocity will kick in anyway. Even like I couldn't stop people from following me, sharing my content, reaching out to me.
So number 5 is share value. Now, what is value? Let's give you the skinny of it. The value, think of 3 E's, something that's entertaining, something that's empowering and something that's educational. Now, John and I, we've learned this much, is we love to double task. When we show up, we love to entertain and we love to train. So we entertain. Now, for some of us, you're just going to have to figure out your flavor of what is it that you love to show up with. But honestly, I just think it takes practice. So many of us, we want to just think through every detail. We want to plan every single thing. But, the beauty of live video, I have to tell you, there's an element of surprise. And sometimes you may have a brain fart. Sometimes, a child is going to run and screaming. Dog is going to start barking. Like there's going to be elements of surprise. And I think that's why reality TV became so popular because you just don't know what is going to happen. It's not that planned. So we do want to plan, but we also want to allow for opportunity for just stuff to also go down. And we got to be okay with that, right? What's going to be is going to be, but we're going to share value when we show up. So whether it's one tip to XYZ, right? You can also, think through in your title of your video. I would definitely bring that curiosity,
right,
value, or share the value of what it is that you're going to talk about to get people to click on your video. But sharing value, again, showing up for 30 days, I promise you, you're going to figure this out. You're going to figure this out.
And it becomes addicting. I feel
addicting.
weird not putting out a piece of content every day. Now, do I do a live video every day? No, but I probably do like 3 to 5 live videos a week, depending on the week. But I always want to share something that I think will help people. And eventually you just become obsessed with helping people. It becomes more than just making money. It's making an impact.
Number 6, and baby, you're really good at this one. I'm going to have you jump in and say some nuggets. But number 6 is you want to think about becoming a community builder. That's what you're building, right? You're leading a community. You're leading people in a direction of a transformation, John.
Yeah.
Now, there's different ways to do it, right? And what's really cool with social media, you guys, it's like, I feel like we live in the world, in the timeline right now where we're so spoiled. And sometimes we kind of like a little bit take it for granted,
right.
But if you think about the way that business used to be done compared to what it is today, nowadays, you have the power to literally grab your phone, go live, and be exposed to unlimited amount of eyeballs.
It's crazy.
Use a tool like Facebook group to build a community, to bring people together. And,
let us know in the comments.
It's kind of amazing.
How many of you have your own Facebook group? Because I will tell you, if you're saying, well, which platform should I start with? I still love Facebook.
You do.
And if someone says, hey, well, I want to create a free offer, a freemium, an opt-in, getting into like the nuts and bolts of building an email list and a capture page and all that can be complicated. But one of the first things we did is we started a Facebook group.
We did.
Like she said, we started a group, a free community that people could join, like-minded people. It started small, but over time we built it up. And I think there's over 30,000 people in that group now. And we would go in there and do special Q&As, do giveaways, like basically, and I love what Gary Vaynerchuk says. I know I refer to him a lot, but he's one of the best when it comes to talking about building a brand and the longevity and why you want to do it, because it gives you your time back and all the other things. But an attention is currency. So what you want to do is get attention by putting out content. You build the width, right? Width, you're getting out there and spreading your, as Nadya would say, connective tissue. But to build the depth with your audience, build that like deep connection, you definitely, like I like what Fraser Brooks says also, you do the reels, the TikToks, the posts to build the know, like, trust, but live videos build the love from your audience. Like, they'll start to love your stuff because they really get to know you. When you just go directly live on your profile. Just go live and you start interacting with people, whether it's replay viewers or the live viewers. Like, it really is building that deeper connection. And then don't be afraid to reach out to someone, connect with someone on the back end. I think it's crazy how still today I can reach out to somebody, wish them a happy birthday, reach out to somebody, hey, thanks for the follow, reach out to somebody, hey, how you doing? And one thing leads to another because we're professional conversation starters. Right? The whole point of marketing is to get attention, is to plant. You're planting seeds when you're interacting with people one-on-one, but you're watering those seeds with your marketing, with your content. Do you get that? Is that a good visual for you? It's amazing how many times I connect with someone on the back end, one-on-one, and they're like, I want to take a look at what you're doing. I've been meaning to ask you what you do. I've been meaning to ask you about your liquid gold, your liquid collagen. I've been meaning to ask you about that belly blaster, right? Like, because I'm proactive, they're reactive. They're reacting to me. They're reacting to my comments. They're reacting to my messages, my stories, because they feel like they can trust me. They feel like they know me. And it's an indirect way to build a relationship with someone that you hardly ever talk to. My favorite is when people meet us in person. And they're like, you're even more positive, more energetic, more amazing in person than you are through your videos. But they can tell that we're like real. And relatable. And if you're starting to create content, I love the 3 E's that you mentioned. But I think it's also important to be relatable and share content that could even be shareable. Does that make some sense? Because if you want to attract people, you have to think differently about your content. It can't be me focused. It needs to be you focused. them focused, the person I'm helping.
Number 7 is we outsource. And notice how it's number 7 and not like number 2, right? So there's steps, we're going to take them in order. So here's what you're going to notice. As you start to put yourself out there, you'll also, I love how Russell Brunson talks about this, right? He talks about in the beginning, you have to show up and create content, not even for your audience. You're not even creating it for your audience, but it's for you to go through the stages of just filtering out all the knowledge in your head to now have certainty when you speak about the stuff that you teach, right? That's going to take time. Like what John talked about, when you go live and you take a look into the camera dot and you pretend like you're talking to just that one person. And that, by the way, is what makes you not so stiff, and it makes you more real. You kind of like speak how you would speak if you were speaking to that person, right? So that takes process for you to get good at that, to identify your main topic for your brand. So then as you master the platform, you identify the conversation, now you're starting to build up your community. Now you ideally have also your business is growing, right? Because you're generating more leads and you're starting to get to the point, and this is a great one, right? Is when your inbox is flooded with leads. Like it's such a positive problem.
Can't even keep up.
And now you feel like, okay, I got this piece. So now you're ready to essentially catch that bird's eye view on your marketing, on your business, to see, okay, what areas, what tedious activities am I doing right now that I should not be doing? And where can I bring somebody in, like a video editor or a virtual assistant if you don't have one, to help you extend your connective tissue, right? And here's the good news is you don't have to master every social media platform in order for your content to show up on every little platform. Now it's going to take time to create. You're going to build it one platform at a time, but it becomes really, really cool. And it's also that concept, right, of where you're going to spend time on something. When you're ready to outsource, you're now going to be training somebody or onboarding a video editing team or something like that. But that task is going to make you so much more time back, and it's going to give you so much more brand equity, right?
Can you give some examples of like what, like, you know, ghostwriting, podcast manager, video editor, a VA to respond to your posts or help out with referral posts? Like, can you give some examples of like what you could technically outsource and hire someone in a different part of the world to do for you?
No, imagination just can go wild here. So we've done an amazing job kind of like scaling up our brand over the years. And we've done it in stages. And there's resources and protocols that you really should be putting in place in order to be really, really optimized. So imagine all of those processes are dialed in, and all you're doing is what you really should be doing, which is creating the value, creating the content, and everything else is taken care of. So, I mean, once you just hear that, right? Once you hear like, wait, what? It's possible. Like, I don't need to be doing all these tedious things that suck my energy, right? Now, there's
repetitive
also a difference, repetitive. Now, I also do believe that should you kind of know the basics of like writing up a blog post or sending out an email to your email list, like I do believe there needs to be competency where you can manage properly, right? But what's really, really awesome, and nowadays technology is so much easier than what it used to be like 10 years ago. Nowadays, it's you guys, and you got to think internationally too. So you can hire talent for just $4 to $5 an hour in different parts of the world. And these are the people that are going to literally become your right hand. Anyway, so we went on a tangent. Number 7, outsource. And number 8, and I think this is the perfect way to put like the cherry on top. And number 8 is you want to continue to invest in your personal development. Tony Robbins calls this concept CANI. I'm a true believer in the principle of CANI, which stands for constant and never-ending improvement. And the truth is, you know, when we talk about building a brand, it's like having a baby. It's the perfect analogy. So for those people that go, wow, I'm launching a business and I want to launch my brand at the same time, I say, okay, but recognize that you're essentially going to be raising twins at the same time. Like there's a reason why most of us, when we go to have children, we, have one and then take 2 to 4 years. We took 4 years to kind of like understand protocols and get this baby to a point of like, okay, somewhat sufficient, a little bit can do things on his own before we had another baby, right? But when you have that mindset that yes, building a brand is like having a baby, and realizing that there's going to be that period of time in the beginning where you cannot leave your baby alone for 5 hours unless it's nighttime. You cannot like expect the baby to feed itself when it's a brand new baby. So same with your brand. So just realizing it's going to be tedious, it's going to be messy, which is okay. And it's okay for you to show up and just be evolving as you go.
Right.
And whenever your ego tries to get involved, just remember, is it your ego or your bank account? Like which one weighs more? Sometimes we got to set our ego to the side and recognize the fact that, look, you're going to be bad before you're good, good before you're great, great before you're exceptional. But it's just what we have to go through in order to make it happen. And most people will not build the brand. But then also most people will never create a 6-figure income, never mind a 7-figure income. And I know you're watching this broadcast, you're not most people. So I think speaking truth into that and recognizing, look, it's a process, it's going to take time, but taking it day by day by day and show up consistently, which is what we started with. That was bullet point number 1. And that's really our secret, right? Is we showed up consistently, but we also improved.
Chipping away.
Right? You can't show up consistently and suck.
Yeah.
You have to show up consistently and ask yourself, okay, how can I today be 1% better than I was yesterday?
Well, it's funny because I remember there was this one woman and she's like, I'm so consistent, I'm not getting results. And I would look at her stuff and I'm like, you're consistently posting the same stuff, but you're not improving. She's like, I don't have time to get on the Saturday calls. I don't have time for personal development. And of course I try to respond to that and give her my feedback, my insights, and, the rebuttal, if you will. But, at the end of the day, you can't beg people to work on themselves. You don't want to drag anchors. You don't want to have to convince someone to join your team, convince them to use the product, convince them to follow the system. It's draining. It's exhausting. We want to spend more time with batteries and not vacuums. People that when you're with them, when you're talking to them, they charge your battery. Not vacuums that suck your energy, those energy vampires, right? But I do think it's so important because I know some of you probably, your brains are melting right now and you have that information constipation. But the truth of the matter is we've got people that, they're building a brand, but it's not like they're monetizing. They're not building their own community. They don't have a Facebook group, an email list, none of those things. They just build their brand to build their network marketing business. And they show up with their opinions, their beliefs, they show up without reservation. Like they're not trying to post just to get people to, hey, look at me. Let me post things so that people look at me and pay attention to me. They're genuinely just sharing their personality, their beliefs. Amber DeLuth is a good one that comes to mind. Like Amber, she's, all about like being an adopted mama, and she loves to share her story and talk about her children and, just sharing her experience, her insights. She also has, an RV, and she lived out of her RV with her kids. And, she's taking people on the journey with her, and she shares things that she thinks are interesting, that she thinks are funny, that she's learning, that she's, providing her tips and insights in her life. And, it resonates with people. And it also, by the way, this is why we talk a lot about attraction marketing. Attraction marketing and building a brand, it goes hand in hand. When you attract people like a magnet to you, you're also going to repel people. You're going to push people away, the right people, the people you wouldn't want to work with anyway. And for some of us, that's a little tough in the beginning. It's uncomfortable. We want people to reach out to us, want to follow us. And if they land on your page and it's just an infomercial of sell, 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 pitch, 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 look at me, look at my business, look what I have. It's very selfish, and it's a major turnoff, especially nowadays. I mean, 2022, 2023 and beyond, like People,
I mean, nobody
want
wants to
authenticity.
tune in to just all infomercial channel,
Right.
right? Nobody wants to tune into that. But you do have to recognize the fact that if you don't find the time to stop, like, and for most of us, we should really get our morning routine dialed in, where is it prayer? Is it personal development, 15 minutes? Is it some form of meditation exercise? Like, you have to lead yourself first if you want to build a community and lead others.
That's right.
So, but you do have to kind of like stop to refuel your car. You know, you can't just continue to drive and go, oh, I don't have time to stop for gas. Like, eventually it'll catch up with you.
Yeah.
It'll catch up with you.
Yeah.
So those are our 8 steps. Again, if you're watching this right now and you go, you guys, that was a lot, and that's okay, right? That was a bigger vision. We want you to kind of see and future pace where this journey is going to take you. Because look, 5 years is going to go by anyway. And 5 years from now, you're either going to be so grateful that you just kind of like came down to earth, your highness, and you said, look, I'm just going to show up. I'm going to step it up. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to take people on the journey with me. I'm going to get better as I go, right? If you don't look back and cringe of how you used to be, you're not growing fast enough. But 5 years from now, are you going to be so happy that you stuck with this commitment? Because I'm telling you right now, the best decision you can make, especially during times where economically things right now are not all that stable.
That's right. This is the time to step up. That's right.
Yes. Look,
Scary.
the only way to create your own economy is to build an audience, build your personal brand, do it right. It's not going to happen overnight, but time is going to go by anyway. And 5 years from now, can you imagine you wake up on Monday and you go, man, I've built this beautiful brand. I have multiple income streams, right?
Time freedom.
You got the time freedom. You don't have to show up if you don't want to. And when you do show up live and you're done with your broadcast, you crush it. You now have this team that takes that piece of content, and your connective tissue is like everywhere. And you see people and they go, how are you doing this? Aren't you exhausted? You're like on every platform. You're everywhere. Podcast, this channel, this channel.
Omnipresence.
You're omnipresent.